All right, so now we'll be looking at the most important skill to me in all of music, because when you get a hang of this skill, you virtually become both theoretically balanced and orally, that's the hearing part of music. You find it easy to hear intervals. What scale am I talking about? It is called the chromatic scale. Now, here is my virtual MIDI keyboard on the screen. What we are going to be doing is looking at why this scale is important and how to properly finger this scale. Now, the first thing we need to know is that this chromatic scale is a scale that allows you to play successive notes without skipping any note. That is, you're playing all 12. Now, when I say all 12, if you followed the last lesson, I said we have 7 main keys, and the other ones, the remaining 5, are called the subsidiary keys. I gave them that name. Now, the main keys are the white keys we see on the keyboard piano. That's the C, D, E, F, G, and A, and the B. Then, because the black keys derive their names from the white keys, I decided to call them subsidiary keys. There are 5 in number. Our subsidiary keys are 5 in number, and these 5 keys add up with the 7 to give us 12. Now, if you decide to start on any of these particular keys and play 12 notes ahead of it without skipping any one, you're actually playing the chromatic scale. Now, the most important thing is not about playing the scale, but hearing what the scale sounds like, so that you can be able to pick out intervals. Now, we're going to be looking at how to finger these scales, and we'll be looking at singing alongside. So I will not go into the fingering right now. Let's hear what the scale sounds like, starting from C. Now, most of us may not be familiar with this scale, because most of our music teachers love to delve into the major scale and making the major scale the very first thing we learn. But in my own opinion, the chromatic scale should be the first scale any music student learns. The reasons are, like I stated before, it opens up your ear to be able to pick up notes in songs. All right, I'll go again, and this time around I'll try to sing along, but I'll sing sulfur names. Now, for the major scale, we know we sing do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. That's for the major scale. Do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. That's what we usually do. But for the chromatic scale, now listen up. Do, di, re, mo, mi, fa, fi, sol, si, la, do, ti, do, ti, do, la, si, sol, fi, fa, mi, mo, re, di, do. Very few people will be able to sing this, and this actually makes it difficult for some people to score some hymns by ear. For example, you're moving in a hymn and you're supposed to move from La, Sol, Fi. Because you're not used to the Fi, you move to La, Sol, Fa. Truly, to someone that does not know anything about music, the person may not notice the difference. But for those who have a good ear, would be able to tell you that you did not play the right notes. So the exercise I would give you for this is that after playing the chromatic scale for a while, I would advise that you go ahead and from your tonic, what I mean by the tonic, your starting point where you pick as your do, you begin to learn how to sing the interval. So you have do, di, do, re, do, mo, do, mi, do, fa, then do, fi, do, so, do, si, do, la, do, 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 ti, do. So if you can be able to pick it like that, even downwards, do, ti, do. Did you hear that? Do, ti, do, do, la, do, si, do, so, do, fi, do, fa, do, mi, do, mo, do, re, do, di, do. It's actually an interesting one to learn. By the time we begin to infuse chords in these things, you will know that even with your chromatic scale, you can write a very good song. So, that being settled, we're going to move on to see the actual scale fingering. Now, for the scale fingering, I'll give us 3 rules. Then we'll go up close with the piano to see exactly how this fingering applies. You see my fingers doing that. Now, the first rule is that you can only start playing black notes with your third finger on both hands. So, alright, the very first rule, like I said, is that you can only play black notes, the chromatic scale for black notes, starting with your third finger on both hands. For example, C sharp, D sharp, or E flat, F sharp, A flat, B flat. You can only start them using your third finger. I will demonstrate that. We'll see that. So, third finger on 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5. That's where you start on your third finger. Then, for the second rule, you can only use your second finger when you have 2 white keys close to each other. Now, the example for these are between E and F. You start with finger number 2. You see that there's no black key between them. So if you're going to start your E chromatic scale, you're starting on so for your E chromatic scale, you're starting with finger number 2. B chromatic scale, you're starting with finger number 2. Why? Because there is no black key in between. Then for every other white note, you begin with your thumb. So if you're starting on C with your thumb, D, F with your thumb, G with your thumb, A with your thumb. Just B and E start with the second finger. So your second finger is replacing your thumb for B and E. The rest use the thumb. Then for the black keys, we make use of our third finger. So now let's move over to the real keyboard to see how the fingering is done. Alright, so we're going to look at the fingering for the chromatic scale. Let's start with the white notes that are not E or B, because we said E and B are both located next to a white key and you don't have a black key in between. So we'll start from the very simplest set, which are those ones that we play with the thumb. That is every other key except white key except E and B. So we have this thumb, that goes for the key of C. That's the C chromatic scale. You're ending on the thumb again. So the same applies for any of the white keys besides our the keys E and B. So we've taken one from the white section. Should we take another? Let's see. So if you start on D, you're supposed to start with your thumb. You see how easily it works out. Can you see that? You're starting on finger number 3. On your thumb, and on your thumb. Now, we move on to E. We said for E and B, you have to start on your second finger. It replaces your thumb. So you start. Again. Beautiful. Then we move on to the black keys. We've used C and D for the thumb, those that start with the thumb. We used E for those that are close to next to each other as white keys. Then for those ones that start on the black notes, let's take our C or our E flat, for example. We said we'll start with the third finger. So we have this. If you want to end there so that you don't roll over, but if you decide you want to move to the next octave, you can do this. Then you continue. Alright, so basically that's the fingering for the chromatic scale. Please, as you sing, as you play, you try to sing along, and that way you can easily master it. And please don't relegate the chromatic scale to just an exercise. It is actually a tool when you're making music. These are things you can play that are formed by your knowledge of chromatic notes. I'll do that again. Or watch, and you're going to the 5. Can you see that there? Did you hear that? I'll do it again. Then the next. Can you see it? So this chromatic scale is usually very, very important for the ear. Then your theoretical knowledge, it builds it up. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Leave a comment in the comment section. Click on the notification bell to be notified whenever I post a new video. Thanks for watching.